All right. I will need your attention now. If you can find a seat, please feel free. Otherwise, you can stand up. No problem. What I will need is just a bit of attention and silence for the proceeding. We are aiming to deliver the EGM and AGM within 1 hour, top, so we can enjoy the networking part. And for those who don't want to miss the state of origin, you can also enjoy it after. So without further ado, thank you all for attending this AGM and EGM. I will leave the floor to our host today, welcoming us tonight at Havas. Not only tonight, but behind the scene, we had our strategic meeting in the boardroom as well. So thank you, Havas. Thank you, James. Thank you, Selina, for your support. Always great to have you on board and in our activity. So I will welcome on stage now James Wright, the Group CEO of Havas ANZ, but also the Global Chair of Havas PR Network. Thank you, James.
So welcome to Havas. We're the advertising, PR, social, influencer, digital, healthcare, communications agency here, big French company. We have about 500 staff in this market, in this building, this beautiful building. Year or so ago, we wanted to do our acknowledgement of country and our recognition of the land in which we gather in a bit of a different way. And so looking at the heritage of this building, if you don't know, we're in the Bushell's tea building. It's a very famous tea brand here in Australia. In the 1920s, this was the primary manufacturing industrial building that they used. And so actually throughout the floors that we are housed here, there's a lot of tea shoots and all of the original lifts, and there's a lot of the original drums that you can see in the lobby. So to recognize the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, which is the land that we meet on today, we produced some special Aboriginal bush teas, which actually we have here. We've made 3 of them actually, working with a local First Nations tea company called Black Teas. They helped us create 3 different teas, and the First Nations people would drink tea for thousands of years as a way to congregate, to socialize, to celebrate, to come together and solve problems, to come together and think about how we can make things better. And I think it's very sort of, if you like, I think suitable for us to recognize that here today. And we serve that at the start of most of the meetings that we do with clients and with our teams here in this building. And that is how we acknowledge country. Not only that, we also got some First Nations artists to help produce pieces of art for each of the 3 different teas that we now have. And often we'll give people the teas to take away with them, as they can do that at home with their own children. They're all made with local flora and fauna that are native to Australia as well, which so keeps very much to the sort of, I guess, the point that we were trying to make, which is to do something very, very meaningful as part of our acknowledgement of country. So just wanted to say that and let you all know that's how we go about doing the acknowledgement here at Havas. Got a few little housekeeping for you. If you want the bathrooms, just go through the back of the building here and around the back of the fridges, and you'll find the bathrooms are behind the fridges there in that area. Please don't go past the sort of like the barriers that goes into our office, unless there is a fire alarm, in which case you will need to. There is a fire escape behind you, behind Matthew there at the back there. Matthew, put your hand up. Put your hand up. Yep. So the fire escape is at the back there. And there is, if there's a problem over that way, there's also fire escapes on this side past the bathroom. So go around past the bathrooms. And then we will guide you to a place called the Lang Park, which is actually up that way at Harrington Street. But Selina or I, one of our staff members, will help you up that way. There is no smoking or vaping or any open flames in the building. So just a reminder of that. And finally, just before I start to introduce all of the team from Fatchi, I just got off the phone from my colleagues in Paris. Actually, I was just doing a phone call earlier, and I've been getting a lot of hassle from them over the last few weeks. So as a very proud Brit, my football team is Arsenal Football Club. And last May in Madrid, we had a global leadership meeting, and had the wonderful experience of sitting with a bunch of my Parisian friends at a dinner, watching the semi-final of the Champions League and watching us, unfortunately, go out against PSG. And we have an opportunity to perhaps revenge that this Sunday. Anyway, they've been giving me a lot of hassle. So what I decided to myself was we may or may not host this event next year, depending on how that result goes. No, good luck to you guys, but I'm hoping that if you are a PSG fan, but if you're not, then hopefully you'll be supporting Arsenal. Anyway, I just also wanted to acknowledge a few important people who are here today. Guillaume Dubois, who's the Premier Councillor and Deputy Head of Mission here at the French Embassy of Australia. I'd like to acknowledge Gilles Barrier, who's the Consul General of France in Sydney. Acknowledge Philippe Vincent, the FACCI Federal President, good friend of mine. Emeric Decuit, who's the New South Wales Chapter President, and all the FACCI directors and New South Wales councillors that are here today. And I'd like to introduce Philippe to say a few words. Come and have a chat.
Well, thank you, James. It's always a pleasure to be here, and thank you for your hospitality. We hope you continue to host us in years to come. See what happens, obviously. Before I begin, we have a couple of distinguished guests in the room, so I want to acknowledge the Honorary Prudence Jane Goward, which I pronounce it properly, former Minister in New South Wales. Well, many ministries. Thank you for joining us. And we also have the Honorary Justin Hanson, member of the Legislative Council of the South Australian Parliament. Thank you very much for coming all the way from South Australia to see us. Obviously, we also have a large number of distinguished guests that are part of the Team France. And you've mentioned a couple with the embassy, the consul with Gilles, Business France, obviously. Thank you, François, for being with us. We also have representatives of the French Tech, the CCF, and the Alliance Française. And this network is instrumental and has been pivotal in the success of this community and its resilience throughout the years. We've worked with all of you throughout 2025, and we hope to continue to do that. So thank you for your support and the hard work. Obviously, I should mention that this has been facilitated to the highest degree by our ambassador, Mr. Pierre-André Humbert, who unfortunately left us recently, but he has done a fantastic work to uphold the value of this community and give it the visibility that it deserves. So next, I want to acknowledge the New South Wales team. We are meeting here in the turf, let's say. And so Emeric, unfortunately, wasn't able to make it tonight because he's got other commitments. But we have the whole suite with Manon, Ines, obviously Chloe as well in marketing under the leadership of Jérôme, who's going to talk in a minute. And I want to acknowledge the incredible effort and the success that they've achieved in New South Wales, which continues to remain a pivotal chamber to uphold, again, the success of this chamber nationally. We also have presidents from all of our states, and they all made it. So thank you for that, as well as many of our directors. And as was mentioned earlier, we had a 5 hours long strategy session this afternoon, which was very productive. And I look forward to putting in place some of these initiatives in the month and year to come. There's a lot of exciting things coming up. So thank you all for being with us. Sorry for those who have to stand. We won't be too long. I want to well, first acknowledge the fact that the chamber is 127 years old. So it's a real pleasure for me to open this annual general meeting. Obviously mature, but still in its prime and still delivering year after year. Without going through the whole history of the chamber, because that would take us quite a while, I want to say that the raison d'être of the chamber is simple. At the core is to accelerate the development of our members here in Australia and to ensure that they do it in a way that is as successful as possible. But beyond that, I think it's important to say that the focus of the chamber is to truly enable something that goes beyond business transaction, and it's the creation of long-term relationships that together form a trusted network. Indeed, I believe that over the last few years, with the growth and the success that we've achieved, we are no longer simply a chamber. We're a genuine business ecosystem, and we deliver opportunities for all our members doing so. And we'll agree that in a world that feels incredibly complex year after year, both from technological challenges, geopolitical challenges, economical challenges, this network is becoming more and more a strategic asset for our businesses and a differentiating factor. And so this is what truly differentiates this chamber from others, and something that we can all be proud of achieving year after year. So you'll see in a few minutes what we've achieved. So throughout 2026, we facilitated introductions all across Australia with many distinguished guests, including politicians from all parties, obviously. We've coordinated recently the visit of France's Minister for Foreign Trade and Economic Attractiveness, Nicolas Forissier, and the feedback was very positive in terms of the contribution that the chamber delivered in making this visit a success. A visit that took place at the time of the EU-Australia Free Trade Agreement negotiation, and the fact that this free trade agreement is now coming to life in months to come, hopefully, is a very strong encouragement for the future of this network and the members' community. Another thing that we have worked on is reinforcing the relationship with some professional organizations, such as the European Australian Business Council. And so in the context of the free trade agreement, that's been instrumental. But also with the AICD, the Australian Institute of Company Directors, with whom we're offering now a formal training to become a company director, something I wish I had done many years ago. It's a success, this first iteration, and we will most certainly renew it, and I encourage you to consider taking that course if you wish to. We've also substantially increased the range of services that we offer to our members in order to better support the development and strengthen the long-term viability of the chamber, to differentiate the sources of revenue of the chamber. And Jérôme will detail it a bit more shortly what we have done in that regard. Internally, the chamber has also continued to mature. So we have strengthened the governance. We've reviewed a little bit the way we interact, in particular with operations. We've welcomed new councillors all across Australia, trying to diversify the range and the number of industry that we represent. And we have broadened also the diversity in terms of profile, welcoming more Australians, although there are still challenges in terms of that diversity that we talked about this afternoon, and we will continue to improve on that front. So we can say that the board is increasingly focused on strategy and governance, and less so on operational matters, whilst our operational team is more and more empowered to deliver with greater accountability, clearer KPIs, but also a stronger performance monitoring. So this year is my 6 years as a director. And I just want to say, looking back, because 6 years ago was COVID and the crisis that ensued, I think we can all be very proud of the way the chamber has bounced back. We've more than doubled our turnover from about $1 million to $2 million. So that in itself is a substantial achievement. We've increased the number of members by 40%. Numbers will be detailed a little bit later on. But more importantly, the growth is not just about scale. It's about the value that we deliver to our members. Because ultimately what matters is that our members are healthy. Healthy members create value for the chamber, and then a healthy chamber in turn can return that value back to the members, and that circle, in fact, is what we're building together. So, in summary, I think today the chamber is standing on a strong foundation as we enter the next phase of our development. The ambition is obviously not to simply grow the chamber, but is to increase its relevance, its influence, and the impact for our members. whether they're French businesses developing in Australia or Australian businesses looking at developing in France and Europe. And we're starting to welcome amongst our ranks Australian companies, large organizations that are looking at the opportunities that we can offer to them with our network. As we continue to grow, acknowledge the values that are federating us. So obviously our openness, our professionalism, our entrepreneurial spirit, and importantly, the strong sense of community that animates us. Ultimately, business is still and remains about people. Despite all the technological progress, I think it's fundamental to acknowledge that. And so, as I mentioned, the FACCI is entering the next phase of our development from a position of strength. I am confident that the best chapter of this 127-year-old entity are yet to be written. And I look forward to writing more pages with you all. Thank you again for your trust, your engagement. It's now my pleasure to welcome on the stage Guillaume Dabuy, Premier Conseiller of the and Deputy Head of the Mission of the Embassy. Thank you.
Merci, Philippe. Good evening to you all. So you don't really know me, and this is quite normal because I'm usually stuck in Canberra. I rarely go out of my den, but I'm the deputy head of mission of the French embassy. And since Pierre-André Humbert has left, as was mentioned, it is now my honor and privilege to be with you tonight to represent the French embassy and to attend the Federal and Extraordinary General Meetings of the FACCI. I'd like to highlight three main things from the French embassy in Canberra. First of all, Pierre-André Humbert, our ambassador, has left, but his spirit lives on. A new ambassador will come in the month to come. And I am convinced that what has been achieved by Pierre-André will continue. And what has been achieved is that a strong investment, a strong commitment to have the FACCI part of the action of France and Australia. And this is the reason of my presence here tonight, to prove that actually we are all committed to have France as active as possible, and FACCI is an essential player in this network. Let me, in that regard, pay tribute to you, Philippe, for your tireless work as the president of the FACCI, but also the different chapter presidents. First of all, Jérôme Fournant here with us tonight. And let me also acknowledge and thank you, James Wright, for hosting us with you tonight. Thank you so much for having us. Second point, as was already mentioned, this year has been a very, very important year in political terms, with the conclusion of the negotiation between Australia and the European Union for a free trade agreement. This is a landmark achievement by both the government of Australia and the authorities of the European Union. And this is also something that needs to be carried forward and will be rich of opportunities that will need to be taken as they come. In that regard, as was said, we had the French trade minister coming to Australia a couple of weeks ago. It was the first minister of the European Union to come after the conclusion of this free trade agreement, precisely to highlight the fact that actually France, contrary to what has been said in the press, that is, of course, always lying or misinformed, France was all in favor of this free trade agreement. And to prove that, Minister Forissier had our high-level bilateral talks on economics with his counterpart, Minister Farrell, in his estate in Adelaide. I would like to actually thank the FACCI, who has been instrumental in organizing this visit, and who has been key to precisely hallmark or highlight our investment in this endeavor. As a matter of fact, Minister Farrell will be in France next week to continue the dialogue with his trade partner, with Minister Forissier, and precisely to start operationalize the free trade agreement. Because, and this is my third point, the free trade agreement is full of promises, but these promises can only come to fruition if you, the business community, take it as the opportunity they represent. And experience from other European Union trade agreements show that many companies do not fully take advantage of these opportunities and of the benefits of these agreements. So I count on you and I count on FATSI to be actually also the engine for the business community here in Australia to operationalize and make this free trade agreement as successful and as beneficial to all of us to continue the relationship between France and Australia. As you have probably guessed, this is not a free trade agreement between France and Australia, but between the European Union and Australia. So with all the French companies trying to or starting to put this into practice, I am sure FATSI will find other European partners with whom we can work together in a spirit of cooperation and win-win collaboration. I am happy to see that you are already planning a seminar on this topic in June with the European Australian Business Council or Business Committee to answer all questions from the business. So let me conclude by actually renewing my thanks actually to the FATSI, to wishing you all the success in the work in the years to come in strengthening the partnership between France and Australia. And without further ado, let me actually give the floor to Frédéric Venière, the FATSI company secretary. Thank you very much.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So I'm covering the EGM, and after Jerome will cover the AGM. So the first thing to mention is the apologies for tonight. It's Shannon Hyde, Emmerich Equit, Laurent Trost, Graham MacDonald, proxy to Frédéric Venière. So in an EGM, whose purpose is to amend the constitution, it's always challenging to strike the right balance between, on the one hand, providing members with sufficient information, and on the other hand, avoiding overwhelming the members with legal details that require considerable time and sustained attention. So I will spare you a reading of every article and paragraph that we are proposing to amend at this EGM, and instead only present the principle that guided the board in bringing this proposed constitutional change before you. So the following slides show all proposed amendments in red. Is it in red? Yes, I'm colorblind, so normally I present it in bright yellow, and but no, don't worry. I'll let you read it. So it looks like it's quite numerous if you go through the 3 or 4 slides that we have. However, when certain concepts are amended, even if it's only a few of them, it often becomes necessary to revise several related provisions in order to preserve the consistency and readability of the document. So for those who wish to review them in detail, a hard copy of the proposed amendments will be made available. So first point, the most significant amendment arises from the fact that the number of memberships has grown substantially. Yes, FATSI has more and more members, and it's a very healthy problem to have. The issue is that the number of members within each chapter determines the level of that chapter's representation on the federal board. So the difficulty is if we were to apply the current representation rules with our 5 chapters, Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, SA, WA, the number of directors would increase to a level that would become difficult to manage. So the Constitution currently provides a maximum of 15 directors, and our board wishes to maintain that cap as it is. So this increase of members led the board to propose a significant change, the introduction of a model under which each chapter will be entitled to 2 board members instead of 1, as it is currently the case. If you approve this amendment, each chapter will from now be represented on the board, not only by its chapter president, but also by an additional director. The board proposed this new default model of 2 directors per chapter in order to strengthen representation across all chapters and support the FATSI's objective of operating as a truly federal organization. And it's clearly a new step forward for that. So the problem is that it also means that the number of by default directors' position will increase from 5 to 10. 2 directors by chapter multiplied by 5 chapters equal 10. The immediate consequence is that it leaves then only 5 remaining board seats to be allocated among the chapters with the largest membership. Before it was 10 seats to allocate. So the board proposed to amend the method for allocating the remaining 5 seats. The remaining 5 board seats to be allocated will still be based on membership numbers by chapter, as it is at the moment. The difference will be the allocation method. We propose to use the method called the largest remainder method. Given the time we have, I will not explain the methodology, but we introduced a definition with the largest remainder method, and all the mechanism, and even illustrated by a case. The second principle submitted for approval at this EGM concerns the term of office of the federal president. The president's term will be adjusted so that it aligns with both the calendar year and the FATSI's financial year. This will be the case for our current federal president, Philippe, because of the 6-year limitation for being a member of the board. Philippe's terms as federal member should end tonight to align his term to the FATSI's financial year, and it will be the same for all the following federal presidents in the future. We will propose to extend Philippe's term to 31 December 26. The new federal president will be appointed tonight, but the effective date of the new presidency will be on the 1st of January 27. Third point, and I will be very quick, it's a number of technical amendments that are also proposed, particularly to clarify certain provisions which wording was a bit, could give rise to divergent interpretation. So we cleaned a bit the Constitution from that point of view. So and I will not list them. You can read it if you want. In conclusion, the resolution that is proposed for you to vote now is, if you can listen to me, the Constitution is proposed to be amended according to the new following principles voted by the board, namely, 1, a default model of 2 directors per chapter to strengthen representation across all chapters and support our objective of operating as a truly federal organization. 2, the allocation of the remaining 5 board seats based on membership numbers by chapter using the largest remainder method. 3, the alignment of the president's term of office to be adjusted with both the calendar year and our financial year. And 4, various minor amendments to keep the change consistent in the whole constitution. So I'm conscious that it's a lot to process in only 10 minutes, but please note that it has been largely discussed in the board, reviewed, and voted unanimously. My question now is, do you agree with the proposed resolution? It's for votes. Maybe you can raise your hands for who is okay for that. And okay, seems to be clear. And are there people who are against? So that's a good result. And clearly it will be a progress in the Constitution. Now the EGM is closed and I leave the stage to Jérôme for the AGM.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. How many? 25 minutes to conclude? Annual report, financial report. That's okay. Again, thank you all for attending tonight, not only in person, but online. Wish to acknowledge them. And not only in Australia, but also in France, with our friend from the Australian-France Business Association, for example. Again, I promise I won't be too long. I know there's a networking part that you all cherish, and we noticed that in the satisfaction survey recently we sent you, but also the state of origin kickoff at 8 p.m. I know. So this evening, we will present the Chamber performance across membership, events, business service, as well as provide a few insights on past and future initiatives. In saying that, we also review the Chamber financial performance and result with our Federal Treasurer, Samuel, and the composition of the board moving forward. Before to do so, we got also the minute of last year AGM to approve. They were circulated, they were available online. With this such of audience, I will ask if there's any objection to the minute of last year. I'm sure you all read them before attending. No objection. Frédéric, under your... Yes, all good? Thank you. So before we delve into the report, I would like to take a step back and set the big picture. I mentioned it last year. I'm not sure I mentioned it the previous year, but I think it's important to remind all of you members and future members as well that the Chamber of Commerce is part of a network of 125 chambers across the world, part of CCI France International. So CCI France International is an entity located in Paris, representing not only our interest amongst the business ecosystem, but also the public ecosystem in France. We had a strategic meeting just before this AGM, and we were talking about this kind of bridge we can use. So don't forget that as a member, and I had recently a meeting with my counterpart from the APAC zone, you can also reach out to us so we can help you to expand your activity or being welcome in another country when you go there. I'm taking the example, if tomorrow you have a business trip to Japan or Vietnam or any other part of the world, you can reach us to us and we'll make sure that people there in the chamber is welcoming you. If you need a desk, if you want to attend an event, or simply if you want to explore opportunity to create your businesses there. When we look at the chamber locally, we need to look at our ecosystem. It has been mentioned, we are a team. Every entity has a role to play, and we can help you navigate this ecosystem. So you see few of them on this slide. Not all of them can appear on it, but we got the embassy tonight, we have the consulate, we got some representative of the French tech, we got also some CCE, and on the side, you can also see some long-term partner with whom we are working to develop initiative, such as the ABC, which has been mentioned recently. But the Alliance Française, I think we have the general manager tonight as well, Denis of Sydney, working quite well with the Alliance across Australia. Turning now into the chamber itself, it has been mentioned, 127 years of bilateral trade. Yes, we look young. I see some cosmetic player industry here. That's probably thanks to you. So we will look as young maybe in 100 years. 5 chapters, we're very proud of that. If you look at our model, we got operational team in every chapter and council and governance in every chapter. Not all the Chamber of Commerce, European or not, have this capability of having a face on the local level and being able to represent your interest. We got more than 550 members, we're growing, and more than 18,000 qualified contacts to whom we can reach if you need support. Now, I'm jumping to gain some time, but our role in Australia is to be the trusted partner for French and Australian businesses. How do we do so? We support you. We try to, we help you to connect, and we represent you as well. Regarding the support that you can see, and I see the letter missing, but that's not a problem. We can help you with market and trade business service, but also introduction and so on with the connect and represent amongst other business ecosystem or public ecosystem, of course. To achieve this mission and these promises, we rely on a strong organization structure. So there is a layer of an operational team, which I have the privilege of leading, and a governance framework. So you can see all their faces here and who is doing what. And I would love to take the time right now to recognize and thank them again for the incredible jobs they are doing on a daily basis. I know they're working a lot and trying to do their best to support you. So thank you to the operational team all around here, but also those online as well. I know some of them are looking at us at the moment. In terms of governance, in every chapter, we got volunteers. We got more than 60 volunteers in total, but every chapter has this council comprised of around 15 to 20 professionals, all volunteer, bringing expertise on their industry or in their function that can support the operational team to deliver initiative still in the best interest of supporting our members. I need to take the time to thank them as well. And we mentioned the EGM, the method of election to the director. We got 12 directors tonight. All, if they can raise their hand as well, I think it will be great so people can identify you. Thank you for flying from everywhere from Australia. And thank you for your support as well. As one of the mission, if it's to drive the strategic vision of the chamber, it's also to support me. And it's not easy every day, I know. But thank you for your support and your trust. Turning into now to our performance, membership is growing, plus 5% increase since 2024, which is good, and we can still do better. And we have a retention rate across all business category of 78%, which is a good, it's above average of a membership organization. But again, if there's 78, I know that we can raise to a little bit more. And we've noticed a great traction from small business last year. And I think this is the impact of all the initiatives the chapter roll out to support micro business, startup, and also smaller businesses. And following our strategy meeting, we will be pleased to release more initiative in the future to again support this ecosystem of smaller businesses. Now, in terms of event, we continue to perform strongly. 113 events delivered last year. To give you an idea, it's around 30 more events, 35 more events than another chamber of European Chamber of Commerce. and an attendance that increased of 17%. So we need to keep going this activity of event and to tailor more and more our event as per your need as members, especially around sectorial knowledge, expertise knowledge, but also introduction, networking at the high level. We also increase our performance in marketing and communication. Nowadays, as you know, whatever your business, social media, reach, visibility is important. Not only to appear visible amongst our peer and ecosystem, but also it's again a wish from our members to be more visible. So we have, done so much last year, and I recognize as well the marketing team. We got Violette Bousquet join us as a VAE, and Chloe upstairs, but also Lou that helped us as well on the marketing as an intern. So thank you for your great job this year. And not only on our social media and so on, but also on all the partnership we have developed and some great partnership like the AACD recently. Now I would like to highlight a few key initiatives from 2025. For some of you, you may be aware that we successfully bring 12 Australian company to France last year in cooperation with the French Embassy and FACET, the French Australian Center for Energy Transition. It was a real success, and that's something we're aiming to repeat next year, hopefully, or the year later. And not only on energy, there's other industry and sector we could approach as well. We did and released this first survey around the French presence in Australia. It's a first step. We know based on Eurostat and some statistics that there are more businesses that don't appear in our survey. So the idea is to repeat as well this survey over 2 years, for example, 3 years, to make sure that we can analyze a trend, but also grow this directory of businesses, again, to support all of you here in Australia and in France as well for those investigating the market. And some market study, I've noted one, for example, for a fashion brand that we've done recently to help them to source and find an agent or distributor here in Australia. Talking about services, again, it's one of our mission to develop our offering in terms of services, because it's something that has been quite requested by the member, but also company looking at the market. So we do some hosting in several cities in Australia. We can do a bit of market entry as well on studies and introduction, referral, a bit of recruitment as well, because we can connect easily talent with company, translation and interpretation, increasing by 19% this year, helping a lot of businesses and individuals in their translation. Some VAT refund, I'm still mentioning it because that's mostly for companies that spending money in France. We help them to claim back the VAT, and I just launched one this morning, again, for a fresh fashion brand company, and some advertising through our social media, newsletter, website, and so on. Now for some initiatives that are more recent and will to come. I'm not sure if everybody have seen our new portal for member offers. No? Well, we will have to resend an EDM because the click rate was quite good and the work that has been done on this platform is amazing. So you can find with the QR code or on through our website all this platform where you can find some promotion discount from our members, and that will be tailored as per the seasonality. It's not only retail, it could be as well for professional services, it could be for sustainable services in the future, and so on. And what a great job for the offer right now on the website. They are valid until 30th of June. Things to come, more initiative event around the committee and the club, sectorial functional to come. Cocktail for the patron member, something that has been supported by the board very recently to recognize their engagement and the commitment and the trust they care they offer us. Program Meet the CEO. I will say a few words, but that will be a trial. It's an initiative from the chamber, the French chamber in Singapore. And it will give the opportunity of small business to apply for a meeting and catch up of 30 minutes with CEO of large organization. the CEO will receive your application, and we select 6 companies to have this 30 minutes for each company. And that's how we want to serve as a bridge as well from smaller business to large organizations who are keen to hear from smaller business to review their supply chain, their procurement solution, discovered product, services. Last but not least, a First Nation engagement initiative supported mostly by Bureau Veritas, but not only. Someone told me that today was the first week of the Reconciliation Week. So it's perfect to announce this initiative. And we will hear from us a little bit more in the future. And I know some of our chapters are really keen to work on this initiative. And I'm thinking about Jerome Montero, president of the WA chapter, who gave us a great insight this afternoon about initiative on this theme. That's it for me for the moment. And now I will leave the floor to our Federal Treasurer, Samuel Nahum, to present the financial performance. Thank you.
Thank you, Jérôme. Thank you all for coming tonight. As you know, we are non-for-profit, so our funding is coming from our income. As you can see, it's been a good year again, 2025, with the first year having events being over the memberships. So that is thanks to all the flagship events, including the innovation tour that was initiated last year. So we've reached and we exceeded 2 million, reflecting a plus 10% over 2024. And as Philippe mentioned, since 2019, so pre-COVID, it was a steady growth of roughly 8% per year. We can split the revenue into 3 buckets. Membership, still strong engagement from all our members, so thank you very much for that. Growing events and growing business services, which is the third leg that we are currently developing. Small loss this year. This is quite exceptional. We try to be a break-even or break-even plus, but we have invested a bit in some staff coaching and some marketing initiative, as Jérôme mentioned just before. I will not take more time because I know we're a bit stretched on the time, so I'll give back the mic to Jérôme.
We are catching up. That's good. We're on time now. All right. I was mentioning the governance is very important in our organization. Again, as well as a member, if you're interested to hear more about this governance, how do we become part of this governance? You got today actually all the chapter and all the president, so feel free to have a chat with them. First, I would like to thank our departing director. Some are departing tonight, some have departed a few months ago. But Wafa, Alexia, Frédéric, Jenny, and Alain, thank you so much for your support. We got Frédéric and Alain doing their farewell today. Please, yes, thank you. Thank you again so much. As for the new board and its composition, so rest assured, it's 15 maximum. It's not 30. That's too much. But you can see all our director, and I will just mention some arrival with Gilles Cardonnel here tonight as well to the New South Wales chapter. Samuel, that you just heard about, joined us in last December, I think, in the Victorian chapter. Florent Campagne in South Australia, who is also present here tonight, and Laurent Truss, who unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight. He's flying just right now, quite literally, from France. And in Queensland, we have 1 seat that needs to be allocated, and the election will happen in the coming months. Do we have any question on all this presentation? The AGM was concluded and approved. It's not possible to go back. No question? All good. So just to conclude, we have a lot of upcoming initiative. We had to do a selection of initiative, and if you want to see the full program, you can see it online on our website, or you can read our great newsletters that we try to tailor as much as we can to resonate with what you are looking for. But you can see a bit of event everywhere, and the webinar we were talking about the Austrian French Australian European free trade agreement that we do in cooperation in partnership with many European chambers, and we are more than 250 people registered at the moment. So it will be delivered the 9th of June online, 4 p.m. So Europe can be with us as well. And some festive event as well. So we got the Tour de France lunch with Cadel Evans, Gabriel Gatte, almost sold out. So please hurry up if you want to attend, because that will be a great event. Of course, we have our Bastille Day breakfast in New South Wales and WA, and for the first time, a gala dinner in Queensland. So that will be the 16th of July. The Euromix, Justin, I'm sure you will be present there. And thank you for your support again in September, and some Victoria and WA initiative around the Concours des Vins that will happen in November, date to be confirmed. Thank you to our host again, James. Thank you so much. You see you're on time for the state of origin, no problem. Again, I would like to thank you all. I would like, please, if you can join me to thank the operational team. We talk about people, we talk about human connection, and I think the first layer of success is also this operational team. So thank you, please, and thank you for your hard work. And thank you to all our patron members as well for their support along this journey of 127 years and more to come. I wish you a great evening. Enjoy the networking. Thank you to all the attendees online as well. Have a great night. And now we can network. Thank you.